And now let's welcome Glen and Mary Lou Clark telling their story, a hotel, a port, and Miss Universe.
Hello, my name is Mary Lou Clark. I'm here with my husband, Glen Clark. Now, I doubt that you would recognize our name, but there was a time when everyone in Long Beach knew our name. Now, our story begins in 1920 when we arrived here from Excelsior Springs, Missouri.
We owned a wholesale grocery business in Missouri. I knew retail markets. The California was growing. The tobacco market was growing.
The soldiers of the First World War had been given cigarettes as part of their rations, and they got hooked. Then along came the roaring 20s, when flappers bobbed their hair and danced the shimmy and took up smoking.
I played the hunch. I bought a building on the corner of Broadway and Linden and opened up a wholesale tobacco business.
There was a vacant lot across the street. We bought that too. Then, in 1921, something happened that changed the city.
Oil was discovered on Signal Hill. People and businesses flocked to Long Beach. With it came $1 million a month building boom downtown.
High-rises were going up all down Pine Avenue, and the town was still a popular beach resort.
So we commissioned George Cars and Nat Piper
To build a hotel, the Broadlind Hotel. Perhaps you've heard of it?
We said the building should be magnificent, a building people would talk about.
They based the drawings on Renaissance paintings, and they called it a palazzo, a palace.
It opened in 1928. It had 31 rooms.
All with kitchenettes. We figured that tourists might want to stay for a week or two.
So people called it the biggest little hotel in Long Beach.
Now, this was Prohibition. I shouldn't tell you this, but there was a rumor that we had an invitation-only speakeasy in the basement with illegal gambling and alcohol. I'm not saying it was true.
We did everything we could. We did everything we could to make sure that our friends and guests had a good time. Let's just leave it at that.
We love to socialize. Glen was a Mason and a Shriner. I was an Eastern Star. We were members of the Virginia Country Club and the Yacht Club.
I was a member of the Pacific Coast Club. It was a private men's club. The kind of club where men sit around in comfortable chairs with a brandy in one hand and a cigar in the other and talk about business.
Women were only allowed on the first floor. That's where the restaurant was. Oh, and the Long Beach Players Guild turned part of the library into a little theater.
I knew Earl Miller pretty well. His wife Lorraine was involved in the guild. I remember one year we saw a play there on Christmas night.
The Long Beach Players Guild became the Long Beach Playhouse, you know.
Oh, and of course you know Earl and Lorraine donated money to build Miller's Children's Hospital.
Now, in 1933, Prohibition ended, and Glen added liquor to the wholesale business.
And confections, candy.
The Depression was battering some businesses.
Oil prices dropped.
Tourism was down.
Yeah, and the Navy officers who came to town kept the rooms rented most of the time.
And our wholesale business sold legal addictive substances. Like alcohol, tobacco, and sugar. We were depression-proof.
We were smart and lucky. Do you know what my favorite job was?
Oh, let me think. Judging the Miss Universe swimsuit contest?
Well, I didn't mind that. I felt it was my civic duty. But no, my favorite job was harbor commissioner.
Well, that's a surprise, considering how it turned out.
Things were going pretty well for the port despite the Depression.
In 1931, the city's charter had added a harbor department and a harbor commission.
5 men were appointed to the commission. I was one of them. John Craig, owner of Craig Shipyards, was elected president. Then, in 1936, oil was discovered in the harbor.
This was huge. Look what oil on Signal Hill had done for the city. Now there's... Now... I was so excited about it. Now, oil was in our harbor, too.
Well, the oil wasn't discovered by the city or the port, but by a private homeowner in Wilmington on the opposite side of the port's boundary. He was digging up a cesspool when oil bubbled up.
Now, imagine your neighbor discovers oil on the property line. You'd want to make sure he wasn't digging it out from underneath your house, too.
A survey showed that the pool of oil extended beneath the harbor.
So the next step was to determine who would extract the oil and how the profits would be divided.
One option was to hire independent drillers and lease the land to them and negotiate a contract.
So several businesses got together and created a consortium, the Long Beach Oil Development, or LBOD. They proposed that they'd lease the land and extract the oil.
The city would pay the initial cost for the drilling. Then, once those costs were covered, the city would get 85% of the profits, and LBOD would get 15%.
And of the 5 commissioners, 3 supported the plan, and 2 didn't.
I thought we should hold out for a better deal. So did Fred Miller. The two of us delayed decisions and stalled votes.
And a Long Beach newspaper wrote an article accusing the commission of hiding something. You exhausted everyone's patience until finally the city council voted unanimously to remove you from the commission.
Yeah. You're right. That wasn't my favorite job.
Well, the whole thing was quickly forgotten and we were invited to parties. You were still included on several organizations. Now, tell them what you did to raise money for the war bonds.
It was 1944.
The whole town was getting excited about the men fighting the war.
I convinced the city's liquor and beverage dealers to sell $23 million worth of bonds in 30 days. We had a boxing match in the municipal auditorium. We had contests between liquor stores, bars, hotels, restaurants, and wholesalers to see who could sell the most bonds.
This was the first time that all these people came together to raise money for the war effort. You sold more E-bonds than any other group in the city. And after that, you were invited to sit on the board of the city's booster group.
That was an honor. I was also on the board of the National City Bank.
Now, admit it, all of this pales compared to judging Miss Universe.
I was a booster. How could I say no?
Oh yes, I'm sure it was quite a sacrifice. All those pretty girls flaunting their assets.
Reverend George Talvin was a judge. If ogling female, he was famous for running America's largest men's Bible club. If ogling females was immoral, what was he doing there?
I don't know, dear. You tell me.
Well, the judges did throw some pretty good parties.
Oh, who could forget the miniature Miss Universe bobbing along in Frank Hill's swimming pool?
Oh, we had a great life, didn't we?
Yes, we did. You were an excellent businessman.
Oh, the company had offices in San Diego, San Francisco, even Seattle.
I wanted for nothing.
And the port's doing well. They're making it clean and green.
And good and safe for all the people who work there.
They're one of the few ports in America that can handle the world's largest ships.
You are part of that legacy. You can be proud of that. I was sorry when you passed in 1964.
You had this handsome monument erected as a memorial. I do have one question, though. Why does it say you were born in 1907 when we both know it was 1892? Were you fibbing about your age?
I think it's time to wrap things up, don't you? Thank you so much for coming out to support the Historical Society.
Wait. Before you go, please do me one favor. If you ever find yourself at the Broadlind Hotel, go downstairs into the basement to the Blind Donkey Whiskey Bar and raise a toast to Mary Lou and me.
Thank
you.